This is an important week for our school, especially given that it's the first week in a long time that we've been able to get all students back to school for face-to-face learning. But it's an important week for another reason. It's Reconciliation Week. And again this year we'll be sharing Reconciliation Week with you, but in a different way. Each day we'll share something with you to get you to contemplate and think about why reconciliation is important. And I wanted to share a little bit of a story that in some ways is embarrassing. When I was 44 years of age, in 2008, the then Prime Minister Kevin Rudd made an apology in Federal Parliament to children of the stolen generation.
We say sorry.
And I'm sure later this week you'll watch that apology. But at that time, I remember seeing for the very first time this map of Australia. And at 44 years of age, I saw an Australia that I didn't know. Yet I was born and bred in this country. And it got me to think deeply about our nation's history prior to European settlement. You see, we already had a nation, the nation occupied by our First Nations people, the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people of Australia. And as you look at this map, and I encourage you to go onto the internet or look in our school library at the map, you'll see every area of Australia, including where we currently live, the home of the Bundjalung people. So reconciliation is part of a healing process. It's trying to deal with the historic displacement of the people who were here before European settlement, our first Australians, our Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. I care deeply about our Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. And some of you might think, well, I wasn't here. I wasn't here for the displacement or the spreading of European diseases that went through Indigenous communities like wildfire, such as smallpox, or some of the rounding up and in some cases a murder of Indigenous people. And you might say, I wasn't here for that. And I would say, but you are here now. You are here now. You can be part of the healing of our nation. You can help the reconciliation process with our First Nations people. I was thinking in preparing for today about my first Aboriginal hero. And I thought back to my own schooling. And there was a wonderful Aboriginal Australian, in fact the first Aboriginal member of Federal Parliament, Senator Neville Bonner. And a link with today is that Senator Neville Bonner was born in the Tweed, on a tiny island in the middle of the Tweed River. And from those very humble beginnings, he emerged to gain a place in the Senate as a representative for Queensland, and then later on to be elected on no fewer than 4 occasions to our Federal Parliament by popular vote. And Neville Bonner was a very, very interesting Aboriginal Australian because he was both political activist and conservative politician. Usually a combination that you might think doesn't marry, so what? But Neville Bonner made that a very successful and powerful marriage, and he made a huge contribution to our Federal Parliament and to our nation. And long before Greta Thunberg made her famous "How dare you" speech, our climate activist who's trying to change thinking across the globe, Neville Bonner also stood at the time of the Constitutional Convention in 1998 and gave a "How dare you" speech. And I think the How Dare You speech, if you take some time to watch it in a few moments, I've got some edited highlights for you. I think that How Dare You speech might make you think more deeply about why Reconciliation Week is important and how we all need to work to unite our country and to ensure that we each play our part in closing the gap for our First Nations people. Welcome to Reconciliation Week.
How dare you? I repeat, how dare you? You told my people that your system was best. We have come to accept that. We have come to believe that. The dispossessed, despised, adapted to your system. And now you say that you were wrong. And we were wrong to believe you. And fellow Australians, what is most hurtful is that after all we have learned together, after subjugating us and then freeing us, once again you are telling us that you know better. How dare you? How dare you? I look across this chamber and I cannot fail to see the rich, the very rich among you. I have had the very good luck to have great wealth, to have been so well educated in your schools and universities. I ask you, what reason do you have now in 1998 to tell the Indigenous people that we must accept what you have decided about our country again? Why are you doing this? You know that change you propose will have no effect on the problems of my people, of the country. I plead with you, apply your great talents and your great wealth to overcome these. Let us work together on the real issues. Let us solve those problems which haunt my people. The problem of land, of health, unemployment, of the despair and hopelessness which leads even to suicide. Let us unite this country, not divide it ever.